Tina Schneidermann. I'm the CEO of Hotspots Movement, and as such I have the big joy of working closely with Linda Grattan, who is the other half of the writer partnership with Andrew Scott, whom you'll be meeting later today. They co-wrote The 100-Year Life. And I think that's why I'm here, to talk about how the concept that they came up with of intangible assets can help people understand how can they prepare themselves, how can they build resilience to navigate this constantly changing world where with increased longevity we're going to be around for longer. So we're going to go through a lot of change, and we need to find out how we make that good change for us. Right, so I talked about intangible assets, of course, and how that taxonomy, how that sort of framework will help people consider intangible assets as being something you need to work on and that you can build over time, like you can with your financial assets to be ready for your retirement, for example. And intangible assets then help you be ready for change and make sure that when the world changes, when technology changes and your skills aren't up to date anymore, how can you still be current? They help you make sure that you have higher energy levels at any point in time, that you don't burn out. They help you ensure that you actually know how to navigate these changes, because we used to just follow what our generational cohort did. So I would do the same as all my friends from university. We would retire at the same time. We would do all sorts of things at the same time. Whereas now we're going to have increasingly individualized lives, because we will live for longer, we'll work for longer, and we will have much more fluidity in how we design our lives. But that takes a capability in order to master that. When we work with quite a few of the leading Australian companies, particularly the financial institutions, and they have a long tradition of seeing themselves as having a responsibility for maintaining a workforce that is employable, also possibly beyond just the time that people will spend with the bank. So they see themselves as having a bigger societal role in that regard. And one of the initiatives that has profoundly impressed us is Westpacs Learning Bank, which is an online learning platform where they enable people to learn anytime, anywhere. It's collective, it's social, so people learning together. It's peer inspired. It's with all the nudges and pushes that technology can do based on keywords and what you put in as your desired development areas, etc. So it's really fit for the future. And we think it reflects very much how the bank thinks about their bigger responsibility and the idea that people need to remain employable, and that is a joint corporate and individual responsibility. The fact that there is so much more scope for creating the work life that works for you. And I was just chatting to our moderator before I went on stage this morning, that we used to have one job, and that's what we did and what defined us. And if we weren't happy in that job, we would either be grumpy or we would be proactive and go and get another job. Whereas now we see it as much more of a portfolio approach. So a lot of us do things on the side, and by on the side, not from a financial point of view, but because it enriches it fulfills what we do. So it enables us to complement what we do during our day job. And I think that portfolio approach, so that I can create the working life that is just right for me, that's amazing. And of course that's possible thanks to technology, thanks to an increasingly globalized world. And I just think that is very enriching. Now, companies struggle with that at times, because it means that the boundaries of what is theirs and what is not theirs when it comes to my time and my energy changes. But I think it's fascinating, and I think what we will all gain out of it is that I have so much energy, and so much more of that can be released in such a context. So I think we all stand to gain. I think what seems to define the conference, and I think that's really important, is that it is not HR people talking traditional HR challenges. It is business. HR people are profoundly just business people, but I think for a long time they were boxed, and they were possibly slightly guilty of it themselves, of boxing them as, oh, we are HR. Yeah, but you're business people. And I think that the conversation here has been about business, and I think it's been about them as being as actually helping the business understand how do we deal with talent in a bigger way, such as me having the opportunity to talk about how people build these lives also over and sort of beyond what their tenure with the company. That's looking at talent in a much, much broader way. It's not looking at payment processes, promotion, etc. It still needs to be done, but I think HR here has become business, and that's really what this conference, I think, exemplifies.